What is mindfulness? Let's see what Wikipedia says. Mindfulness is the cognitive skill usually developed through exercises of sustaining metacognitive awareness. Metacognitive awareness. I didn't know there was such a term existing. Man, that's fancy. Towards the contents of one's own mind and bodily sensations in the present moment. Now, first of all, I don't know which genius is writing these kind of descriptions, which saint or sitting on Wikipedia, complicating stuff as much as they can. There's only one word we need to know: meditation. Everything comes out of that. In fact, the awakened ones, the Indian saints, say that meditation is not the equivalent word to something called dhyana that we refer to. We'll discuss about it later. But this word mindfulness, ever since it has taken birth, it's quite fancy. It looks very surreal, very celestial, very pure, kind of a rare commodity, isn't it? It is just being present. Being present right now with the things that are with us right now, around. Well, what's the big deal? Why is it not possible for us to be present? I'm here and I can be here with my mind. My body is here, so I can be here. You look at people, just stand somewhere in the corner, maybe on the street, maybe in a restaurant, maybe in the traffic. You see people, somebody's drinking coffee, he or she is drinking coffee, but he or she is not there, somewhere else, doing something else. People are walking around in the traffic, in the road. They're not there, driving their cars, but they're not there. Their bodies are there, but they are not there. They're elsewhere. We are all living elsewhere. This is it. To bring that mind right there where the body is, that's the whole point. But why is it not being possible? Because of thoughts, because of problems. But what goes on in our mind is that we are always thinking about something that we are solving, something that we are planning, something that we are thinking ahead, all of that. Meditation gives us a power to not do all of this. Now you may say that, if we don't think about our problems, if we don't think about fixing, things, if we don't think about a schedule, what's going to happen? How would this mindfulness going to help us? Now we may think that we are fixing problems. We are not fixing problems. Fixing problem takes how long? If you pick up a problem, if you think about it, if you go through strategies or whatever you need to do, a few hours maybe, usually a few minutes. But then what happens? What exactly is happening? We are going from one thought to another thought to another, to a chain of thoughts, and we end up elsewhere. So in reality, we are not really fixing any problems. See, there are two sides of the mind. You would be surprised to know that mindfulness is of the mind, meditation is not of the mind, which means you need to use your mind to practice mindfulness. Meditation is to kill the mind, is to completely destroy the mind. Mind is what? There are two aspects, there are two sides to the mind. One is the faculty of mind, one is just thoughts. Faculty to remember things, who I am, what am I doing, where are my things, who are the people I know, everything that we need to store in our memory and to process. And the other one is thoughts. This is the killer. We use what? Like 20% of the energy while we're working on something, thinking about something, trying to fix, getting the work done. That is work, I understand. That's the faculty of mind and we need that. But most of the time, what's wasting our energy, what's wasting our creativity, what's wasting our life is the thoughts. Movement of thoughts. Thoughts come and go, come and go, come and go. And this is the billion-dollar question. Why is it a billion-dollar question? Because all your billionaires, all your millionaires end up in their life after collecting so much wealth in figuring out one question only, and that is how to get rid of these thoughts. If thoughts don't happen to you, then you are mindful. You're present. And it's not that easy. The most difficult thing in this world, even more difficult than climbing Mount Everest, is getting rid of thoughts. Unnecessary, stupid, meaningless thoughts. They look very meaningful to us because we are always figuring out something, we are always processing, we are always getting somewhere, we are always... No. It just goes on. That's the character of mind. Pravritti in Sanskrit. It just goes on like that. It's a phenomenon that is built up by the society. If you and I were born in jungle, if you and I were born with just a few people around, these thoughts won't bother us, and we don't have to study any mindful. They're already mindful, really speaking. So, meditation is the only thing. Start today. It's a boring thing because meditation is absolutely doing nothing, and that's the biggest challenge. Doing nothing is the biggest challenge humanity faces. That doesn't mean being unproductive. That's being consciously not engaging, not occupying. Occupation of the mind is the biggest challenge.